Can you hear me now?
Hello and good evening. How are you doing? Hope you're good. Have you been? Hope your day has been wonderful and fantastic.
Can you hear
Well,
me
I actually
now?
want to apologize for starting late. We had a little
I'm
bit of
actually still in
technical
the
issues,
car.
but we've been able to sort it out.
I'm
This is
still
Gbogbo
in the
Swagger
car.
and welcome to
Man,
Swagger's
yeah.
Lifestyle. Hope you're good and hope you're living your first life. So today is going to be very, very interesting because we are talking about marriage and we are looking at being besties with the opposite sex. So today I have two amazing people here that we are going to have this conversation together. So I will just allow them to please introduce themselves. Ladies first.
My name is Peju. I'm married and I've come to just learn and talk about my perspective on this matter.
Peju, you're welcome. Again, it's always good to have you here.
Israel, go and bring my charger.
That we are going to have this conversation together. So I will just allow them. Over to you, Babatunde. Please, can you introduce yourself? And we have some. Okay, please, Babatunde, introduce yourself, please. Hello, Babatunde, are you there? Can you hear me?
My name is Babatunde Ayodele. I am married, got 2 kids. I hope I'm able to. Yeah, I can. I'm actually, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I think there's an issue with kids, a boy and an amazing girl. So let's just
Hello,
go straight into
hear
the
me?
bit bad, so we can't really hear you. Yes, please. Can you introduce yourself? Okay, so I think Babz, please try and sort out the connection. We can't really hear. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. So I think let's.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, please. So introduce yourself, please. Okay, so let's go straight. We have some people in the comment section already here. Ahmed Mustafa. Okay, so I know that you're coming with a lot of things to talk about. Candy Musa, very interesting topic. Ready for it? Candy, you are welcome. We have Clifford. Clifford, hey, welcome to. Thank you for joining us. Clifford says, Peju, we can't hear the guy. Ladies, go ahead. Thank you so much. So we'll just continue our conversation while Babz is trying to fix his connection. So the topic is marriage, being besties with the opposite sex. And the first question is, what do you think about this topic? Over to you, Peju.
First of all, the topic already, it makes me wonder how those words will be together in the same sentence. Being besties, a married person being besties. Maybe besties might mean something else to other people, but when you call someone your best friend is the first person you share your wins, your highs and lows with, all your plans, your fears, your worries. That is the first person you think of when an event takes place or is about to take place in your life. So so a married person. So what's the work of the spouse then? if another person of the opposite sex is actually taking the place of the person who hears first. For example, maybe you've just received a promotion in the office and you want to share it with your best friend. So will you call your best friend before you call your wife? Or I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know what other people think.
Okay, so Babazide, what do you think about the topic of today?
Okay, can you hear me? Is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, maybe let me just go off the video to see whether this gets better.
Okay.
Actually, I am with is it better now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I think I'm with the lady on this about the role of what the bestie is and what a bestie isn't. First, I like us to think about or talk about what a best friend is. So your best friend is somebody, a special friend who, like she said earlier, shares your wins, shares your lose, knows a lot about everything that's going on. So I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how you're able or anyone is able to combine this with the either dating relationship or the marital relationship. I think it's a tricky thing, and it's subject to a lot of discussion. So I hope that at the end of today, we'll be able to have different opinions and angles to what really is the right thing to do. Keeping the bestie whilst you're married, keeping the bestie while you're dating, or if it's actually a very bad idea. From my own perspective, I don't think it's a very good idea either, having a best friend when you have you're in a dating relationship or you're in a marital relationship. I think it's a tricky thing, and I think it's not something that really works out well for everybody that is concerned.
Yeah, you're very correct, because when I actually posted the flyer today, somebody saw and commented and said, do people have besties outside of their spouse? So why am I married to you if you can't be my bestie? So I think that a lot of people are married and they are not friends with each other. They find it very difficult to have a form of, they find it difficult to even have a conversation with each other, talk less of being friends or talking about deep things. Maybe what they talk about is just centered around the home front, school fees, this. So what can you say about that?
That's quite we find that a lot in marriages where the marriage has turned to a routine, especially where there are children. They just go through the motion. There's no friendship, like you said. Some started with the friendship, and then life just happened, and things just took over. That's why in those kind of situations, people need to just stop and just do this check-in with yourselves. That how are we? What's going on? What are we doing in this thing exactly? Are we, that check-in is very important. Even for people, when your marriage is sweet and it's good and things are going, you're in a good place, just still do that check-in. Because you hear stories of, people are, one of the husband and wife could just wake up one day and say they are no longer interested. And the other party never had a clue that that person was not being fulfilled or not getting what they wanted in the marriage. And that's where that checking in comes in. Some people are just clueless in the marriage. keep going. They just feel everything's all right, especially Christians. They just feel, we are children of God. He can't leave me, or something like that, or she cannot leave me, that the divorce is not an option. But some people there's no connection there. There's nothing really going on. There's no spark, nothing else. That's where, you're right. And then that when they are now in that tricky situation, they start to talk to someone in the office who gives them a listening ear. They talk to them. They build friendship that they're not getting in their
inside the house.
And then things get tricky from there.
Over to you, Babz.
Okay. Okay. This might take a bit of time, but let me just try and make it as succinct as I possibly can. Okay. So this is how it goes. Like, how did this friendship started in the first place? I spoke to quite a number of people. I wanted to get their temperature. I wanted to get their angles to this. How did you become, how did the opposite sex become your bestie? Is it your ex? Is this somebody that was asking you out before? Somebody you were asking out before? Is it somebody that you dated before? Or is this somebody you just had something to do with in your previous life before you got married or before you go into another relationship? So I noticed some from personal experience, some from other people as well, that most people that are called besties by the opposite sex, they're actually people that were converted from maybe toasters, and then they are now friends. They were friend zoned. So it can happen to a girl, it can happen to a guy, and then they just sort of like hung around. So you also have people that are hoping that something might happen. Mm-hmm. And then you have the exes that are refusing to go away. So sometimes when you're talking about exes, if I need to speak to anybody, I need to ask, what category does your bestie, what category does that bestie fall into? So if your bestie is your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend in your new relationship, then obviously you're looking for trouble. If your bestie is somebody that was converted, who once liked you or wants to date you, it could be the case of a man or a woman, and that's the person that you've taken as a bestie, then we are talking about a potential problem. Thirdly, if your bestie is somebody you have a crush on, and then you decided to keep them around, then obviously we're looking for trouble. So really, I like to find out what category your bestie fall into. That's what on one part. On the second part, I like to find out if your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, could be your husband or your wife, are they comfortable with your bestie? Are they comfortable with the kind of relationship that exists between both of you? Yeah, I know that before this has to be a lot of honesty. There has to be a lot of discussion. Hard, difficult discussion. What are we doing? Are we just friends? If we are friends, what is the boundary, or what are the boundaries? What can you do? What are the kind of difficult conversations that need to be had? Again, if you have a partner that is not comfortable with your bestie, then you need to have a conversation. If you're still not comfortable, then you need to break touchy person. It could be a guy and it could be a girl who is touchy. Everything say, and she's arguing or he's arguing or touching like that. Your husband needs to have a conversation with the bestie and your partner. If they're still not comfortable with it, I'm sorry, you're going to have to choose your relationship. I don't care what that other relationship is doing to you. It's going to ruin. Don't let me take too much time. I'm sure we'll come to some other things as we continue.
Yeah, because the part of the X, we are still going to talk about the part of the X in line in this discussion, because I have a question concerning that. But the truth is, I don't think that there is any spouse or any married couple that would want his or her spouse to have the opposite sex as his or her bestie. So, for example, like you are married now and your wife is going to be comfortable that you have a friend outside as a female that you run to, you're best friends with. Even if you have the conversation, I don't think she would agree. The flip side for the man, I don't think the man will be happy that the wife has another man outside as a bestie. Like how? It's not possible. So let's go to the comment section and then we'll come back with our discussion. So we have Solomon Ojoawo. Let's go. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Ozema, it's good to have you on the show. So Kadi Musa says, I think people use the word best friend loosely. I totally agree with Peju. No issues having a friend of the opposite sex, but having that person as a bestie is a bit too heavy, which is true. Clifford says, bestie for me, the bestie for me is the best person you are connected most with, but unfortunately, for one reason or the other, you couldn't marry each other. So like what Babz said, I think is part of the things that Babz raised, that maybe this person is an ex, or maybe is a friend that you have a crush that you have something for, but you have been friend zoned. So this is what Cliff is saying, that is the reason why he can have that person as a bestie. So he said you need to accept reality, then move on. So you convert the person to a best friend. We have Ola Eguntolo. You are welcome. Thank you for joining. She said she can't leave me does not exist again. Okay, so I think all those men that have ladies that can't. Okay, said any woman thinking a man can't leave her because he's a Christian is still dreaming. Okay, so I think she's talking about being deliberate in marriage. So all of that doesn't exist. Okay, thank you for your comment. She's saying that I don't have any opposite sex as bestie. My husband is very jealous, so I dare not. So that, you know, I said that, Peju, that I don't think there is any man, and I don't think there is any woman that will allow their spouse to have the opposite sex as besties. I really don't think so. So Solomon is saying, if the bestie truly has the friend's interest at heart, he or she will gradually keep a distance and encourage the friend to discuss more with his or her spouse. That is very, very correct. Because I don't think anybody, if you really have the interest of a friend at heart, you won't be the first person the person will run to in any crisis. The first thing you say is, have you spoken to your wife about it? Have you spoken to your husband about it? And he or she, that once they know that you are married, they have to, you know, keep the distance. Which brings me to the issue of boundaries. So what are boundaries?
Let me just first of all touch on what you said, that if the bestie has that friend's interest at heart, the bestie might not have that person's marriage interest at heart. So all they want is the attention of that person. So they don't care if that attention is causing a havoc on the person's marriage. In fact, it's even better for them if they fall into that category about, of hoping that one day this person will be mine. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that they might be benefiting from the fact that the person is not talking to their spouse and talking to them about those important things. So coming to boundaries, that is I've seen it in different ways and different forms. So I need to be very careful here, because what works for one person might not work for the other. When you see how some people manage their homes, you'll be almost surprised, because you're not used to that kind of thing. So this is like Babz mentioned, this is something that you discuss with your spouse. Women are sometimes more, I want to reemphasize, sometimes more sensitive than men when it comes to these kind of things. Women know from afar, because women, we know ourselves, we know all these things. We know when somebody...
The tentacles are up. Tentacles.
Exactly.
Instinct, touching. Pip, 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 pip. We are bipping, snippers.
Yeah. So when someone is even when your spouse is innocent, and sometimes they don't even have a clue, they don't know anything that's going on, but you see that this person, there's something going on that is more than friendship. Any small thing, this person is calling and asking for opinion, when the other ways they can get the kind of solution that they are trying to find. Having that honest discussion with your spouse about how the person's actions make you feel. Be honest and open about it. Don't just say, I don't want to talk to this person because this person is XYZ. Tell them how that thing is making you feel. And if I don't believe when you tell your spouse that somebody's actions are making you feel a certain type of way, that they won't want to do something about it to change that feeling that you're having. So being honest about your feelings on how that person's actions are affecting your feelings towards that person's actions. I think that will help. And checking in again, that checking is, these boundaries you set, are you guys really working? Are you within those boundaries? When you guys have said something XYZ, maybe we're not receiving calls after this time from people, except maybe in the case of an emergency. But even there are some people that they will keep calling, they will be telling you it's emergency. When you pick up the phone, what they are saying is, it doesn't sound like emergency. Okay, so maybe we could say, a practical example could be, okay, if this person calls after this certain time, I will pick it on your behalf and listen to what they have to say. And there could be some extreme cases where you have to sort of excommunicate. You have to stop, talking to the to that person to save your marriage if it's important to you.
Well, concerning picking up the call, there are some men that will never allow their wives pick up their calls. I won't say, because I need to be very careful, because there are some situations where maybe the man had been allowing her to pick the calls and different things were happening as a result of that. And I can't really tell why the person made that decision. But if it's not because of that, then that's not a partnership. Then I don't see that as a healthy marriage. Okay, so Babz, over to you. What are boundaries? Babz, can you hear me? Okay, so while we wait for him to come back on, so why are boundaries important in relationships?
So let me take it from this point, this angle rather. Anyone who you or your spouse talk to, especially regularly, you need to understand that they eventually will have an influence on your marriage, on your home, on how you run things. For example, maybe something as simple as maybe you guys want to buy a car, and this person, you guys you've agreed that, okay, maybe we will say let's say you have 3 children, you want a car or you have 4 children, you want to buy a 7-seater for your family. And this person that your spouse talks to a lot is loves sports cars, and and they're talking about all the positive parts of sports car, why a sports car is good. You just see that one day the person, your spouse will just come and say, why don't we buy sports car now? For me, I need to be driving. Maybe next year we'll now maybe we'll buy a bus that all of us can fit to. Those kind of things, you now know that this person has been talking to this particular.
You know that this information is coming from outside. It's somebody that is coming to impose on your home.
Exactly. And if you don't use wisdom with it, can turn to a fight. Because if you say no, why can't you? They will now say, oh, because you are refusing, we must now get that sports car. And that is an outsider already having influence over your family. And this issue of bestie is not even only maybe a random friend or an ex or someone that is hoping to be to have you. It could even be family. It could be the person's brother or sister that they've grown up together. Yes. So maybe it was just two of them in their family, one brother and sister. And they've grown up, they've been through all sorts, they know each other, they value each other's opinion. That your spouse will consider that their sibling as their bestie. And that bestie, as long as that sibling takes that position of bestie in their life, that sibling has an influence over your family, one chance. Over the decisions you are making.
That one is even more difficult to tackle.
That's it. So this is now where you have to talk about it. You can't be quiet, and your spouse will not know, because this is a life they have lived throughout. They don't see this person as they see the person in fact as part of them. So you now have to let them realize. It has to be like a light bulb moment for them. That, do you realize that whenever we make a decision and then you talk to XYZ, your mind changes, and then you bring that other opinion that you have received from XYZ into a decision that we have already made. This is how it's making me feel. This is how it's affecting our relationship. This is how it's affecting XYZ. And then when they realize, you don't just have to say, I don't like how you are talking. It can never work like that. You need to calm down, lay down the facts, make women, we know how to file evidence, show the evidence of how those influences are affecting your marriage, your home, and all the things that you're planning to do. And then gradually, because that one is a very, like you said, is a difficult one, like the sibling one. They can't just cut off ties and everything. They will continue to have a cordial relationship. They will continue to listen to them. But when they come to home to discuss, they are not imposing that other opinion on the agreements that you've already made. So setting those boundaries, and again, once we have agreed on something, no outsider should come and have an influence over it, no matter who the person is.
Okay, thank you for that. So, Babz, over to you. Babz. Okay, so I think we'll just continue with. So that's very, very correct, because I liked in situations like this, I think most times the women are always very how do I put it?
They're sensitive.
Yes, they are sensitive, and they bring up they always attack their spouse. So most times it turns into a fight, and it goes, I do not want, and then the spouse is saying, why would you tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns to a big issue that can, escalate to different things. So I like when you said how gather the evidence and explain to your spouse how you feel. But on the flip side, for the men, they are more commanding. They will just say, in this house, you do not. In this house, you do not. And then the woman is saying, how can you tell me what to do and what not to do? Blah, blah, blah. Story fight has started. So I think both ways, when you have to deal with issues like this, let mutual respect come to play. And then, like you said, talk about it, bring up the evidence, and, deal with the issue. Let's go to the comment section. So we have, Okay, Tolakwa is saying some won't agree when you tell them about the action. Some girls are just something else. How can you be calling someone's husband at night for no genuine reason? Yeah, that's a point. You know somebody is married. What are you calling them for?
There are some things that you can't, that's why you need to be sensitive. You need to know when to say, put a nail on this thing. You need to cut it when it's thing. There are some things that you can't run away from, that will keep happening. I don't mean you keep on allowing one person to be doing that what they were doing. When you stop one person, those actions from a certain person, don't think that's the end of it. Especially if your spouse is someone who is out there, that is known, or in the corporate world doing well, or even for you, if you're someone who is out there, people will try all sorts. So it's hard. We need to be at alert and put all the boundaries and cut off what you need to cut off.
Yeah, you're very correct, because I've had cases where clients call me at night and I do not pick. And then when I return the call, I'll say, it was late. It's, politely tell them it's late to call me. Why are you calling me at certain hours because you want I just feel it's, even as humans, not even, we have the part of marriage, but even as humans and relationship with people, we should be able to set boundaries. There are some certain things that, if this person is a married woman, you shouldn't call her by certain time. This person is a married man. Don't call the person by certain time. And even when it's not like the work is 24 hours, 7 days, there are times for work between 8 to 9 or 8, or maybe you have an extra 2 or 3 hours for overtime. After that, you can send an email or you send a text message. Not that you carry the phone and stuff, but I feel people really need to watch that and put a stop to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And also
all those insistent calls. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say, even for not just people calling married people at odd hours, even married people to need to respect themselves. Sometimes they do it to unmarried people. You don't, because someone is not married doesn't mean you shouldn't respect their boundaries or respect them generally. Don't just call people at ungodly hours. Don't do it. Respect yourself, respect your spouse, and respect that person as well.
Thank you for that. That's very profound. So Tolakwa said, very annoying, I swear, third party. Yeah, when you have, I call it third wheel in the marriage. So Madam Oluwafumilayo, thank you for joining us. She said, happy bestie, no, not a bad thing if there are boundaries in place. Bola Titolaniyo, thank you for joining in. You're welcome. Say, taking notes, ma. Nifemi Fagbon, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. He said, Tolani bestie, only 0 boundaries is sonu. Taloni bestie, only boundaries. Taloni bestie, only 0 boundaries is sonu. I think maybe this is coming from a place of experience. I don't know, but so Bolatita is saying setting boundaries. Boundaries is key. Nifemi is saying that. Nifemi is saying so women lack insensitivity with understanding where to draw the line with their male friends. Mutual respect for their homes and spouses is very key. Madam Fumilayo, I personally feel one keen about besties Wonyi, especially my ex married his besties way back from uni, months after we broke up. Was very easy because they know each other already. August rush. Okay, so I know that. So she's saying, I personally feel one kind of way about besties, Wonyi, especially that my ex married his bestie way back from uni, months after we broke up. So it brings me to the next question, but I would like to take everybody's comments before I ask the next questions. So he said, was easy for him because they already knew each other. Nifemi says, some women just lack that self-respect. Calling to do unnecessary gist. One very weary. The comments we're having tonight are very hilarious. So Fumi is saying, I pick clients call at midnight, or clients make una call me or anytime, as far as is not coven calling. So Ozoma is laughing at what Oluwafumlayo is saying. So Nifemi says, this actually goes both ways. As a married person, please don't call single guys or ladies at odd hours for your gist. We need to set those boundaries. You are right, so it's from a place, of experience. But that was when I knew I get small squish for head. We tackled it and all sorted. Yeah, so when I saw that comment, I knew that it was from it. So if it's possible for you to give us your experience, maybe to help us in our conversation, please, we would like to hear that gist. And then I think I would like to pick what Oluwafunlayo talked about when she broke up with the person she was dating. He went and married his bestie, which happens to be his ex. So it brings me to the next question, which is it right for you to chat with your ex?
That question is almost not complete, because when you say chat, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so when I say chat is, okay, this person has an open line of conversation or communication with you, and then you see people where you see spouses where they are chatting with their ex is sending messages and they are exchanging more than pleasantries, or they are being more civil to each other than necessary. They are basically, like Babz said earlier, friends. They become besties even after we are saying we're not longer interested in this marriage, in this relationship, or the person has gone ahead to marry someone else, but they still keep this cordial friendship relationship outside of the mix of we are dating each other.
If they are not doing any business transaction that they cannot come out of because they'll run into a loss, and they do not have a child that they are looking after together, I don't see any reason why exes should continue to communicate, because this is someone you've had an emotional attachment to at one point in time. Whether the person was mean to you or whatever the person did to you, there was a time you were attracted to that person, and you are a human being. Some way, somehow, the attraction can come again. So don't put yourself in that situation that you now be, they call it shoot bird, mama fly. Don't put yourself in that shoot bird, mama fly situation. Just respect yourself. And do you really need to sit down, think about it, and just think about, what am I doing? Do I need to? Is there no other person in this world that I can talk to apart from this person? Why am I talking to this person? What am I doing with? What am I looking for? If it's not like I said, not a business transaction that will make you bankrupt if you come out of it, or a child that you're looking after together, then please move on.
Yeah, there's actually a case of like there are cases I've heard where both of them were actually business partners, and then things just went south. They didn't get married, and the person got married to someone else and all that, and they were actually business partners. And what the person did is the person brought his spouse as, part of the directors in the company. So most times, even if they are going out for meetings late at night and all of that, he's there with his spouse, because like you said, there was actually flames, there was emotions and all of that, and things could actually happen. So I am actually of the opinion that when you are saying that this person is an ex, I do not think you should have or convert the person to besties. I don't think that is right. And I don't think that is what you should do. I think that you guys can be civil to each other. There was actually, this question was raised sometime in a particular group, and someone was saying how if you've introduced the person to your spouse and all of that, and your spouse is cool with them, I really don't think I think it's a gray area. And in order for you not to introduce problem into your home, I think you should actually have boundaries. It's not like when I see you outside, I can't say hello, hi. No. It's not that when you send me a message, oh, are you good? I can't respond to you. No. But when we start going out for lunch, this one send message, I'm hungry, take me out. What's the meaning of that? That needs to stop. And apart from that, you need to set boundaries and draw the line on the kind of discussions that you would have. Some goes as far as that, reminding you of your time together. Remember when we do this? What's the meaning of that? What can you say about that, Peju?
Exactly. So it's just the same thing I said. Just stop and think that, why am I doing this? Why do I want to drag this person on? There must be a reason. Where human beings, we don't just do things for the sake of. There must be a reason. You just want to have that person around you to be remembering the old days, or what? That means you don't respect your spouse. And you don't respect the institution of marriage. Just let go. Let go. And if it's not for those first two reasons I mentioned, or any other life-threatening reason, which even life-threatening, except the only thing is maybe you did blood covenant together. You go to church and pray for God to break it.
I'm breaking.
Exactly. It can break every chain. Let's go.
Because the truth is that some of them might be out for revenge. Like, okay, so you're married now, and you think maybe the other person is not even married. Or maybe the other person is married and not happy in his or her home, and is looking for a way to bring you back together and break the home and say, that thing that we had together. I just feel it's unnecessary. And I feel that you shouldn't put yourself into that kind of, situation or that kind of pressure, on your relationship. So it's better to just, nip it in the bud. That is, I'm all for nipping, just, nip it. So let's go to the comments. I think today the comments is so hilarious today. So yeah. So Nifemi is saying place of experience, auto typo. Okay, that's fine. We got what you were saying. Olufemila said chat. No, all things you have passed away. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Because why am I chatting with my ex? What like why? There's a reason why you're an ex. So just stay that way. And all of that. So she's saying that all things you have passed away. There's nothing like chatting. So Osima is saying he's the only one that gets me. Now so it starts. That's their line. He so gets me. He knows. Jackpot season. Run. So Nifemi is saying, Biko waiting lost for your hand where you define reach X hand. Onibara Nibo lebo. Sorry, my Yoruba is rusty. Don't ever light up the gas if you are not ready to cook, and that's true. Gloria Elias, thank you for tuning in. Say your bestie should be your spouse, a only bestie of the opposite sex. The women are really bringing it to the table. The men, please, we would like to reach from you concerning this issue. Are you the one sitting on the table that they are breaking tonight? So that is saying, if you and your then boyfriend or girlfriend are directors, shareholders of same company, business partners, etc., please change names of director. Let each party open new companies. She Dondoni. Okay. So this is from a lawyer. This is from a lawyer. So she's saying that even if you guys were having, if you're business partners or you have projects together or company together, since you guys are saying we're not going the extra mile any longer, or forever is not in the picture, you guys should go your separate ways. It shall be well with you as glory, bestie this, bestie that. I am really feeling it for me, bestie call, bestie. Okay, it's super hilarious. I just have to laugh, sorry. Okay, so let's continue with our conversation. Okay, now, to reiterate what you were saying earlier, I have a question here, which I need us to touch. And it's like, how can having an opposite sex as a bestie affect married couples?
Let me just give you an example of a top-ranking official in the UK, married,
Yes.
happily with children, a man, and the bestie, happily married woman with children, wealthy, very, very wealthy, connected. Both marriages going well. The spouses of the so-called besties had no clue. Besties from university days, married for many years, and then all of a sudden, we just found that they had been frolicking in the office. So
I like that English word. What you call it? Frolicking.
So what are we talking about? No boundaries. This person had been the man's bestie since university, made her his like special advisor, brought her in to work with him. The wife did not see anything wrong with it because the woman, the so-called bestie, was also happily married. So you can't say it's not only an opposite
sex bestie that is single.
It's not only single, both the married and unmarried can cause havoc in marriage. So you just have to be sensitive and you can't just allow those kind of things. Sometimes even if the man did not have anything in plan, you said there's nothing there. But you, the man, you should know that there's nothing like there's nothing there. Someone that you are seeing every day, you are talking to in that kind of environment, you'll be stressed. That's the first person you tell you are in a vulnerable position. You are talking to that person in a vulnerable position. Well, what will happen the day that nobody is there? What will happen? So yes, having an opposite sex best friend can cause havoc to a marriage. It doesn't even sound well. It doesn't sound right to me. You can't. Why should you have the opposite sex best friend that is not Jesus, not the Holy Spirit? What are you looking for?
I really like what you're saying. But for me, I would like to look at it this way. Now we're talking about besties, right? And this person is not your spouse. For me, I think it is cheating. And I feel that you are cheating on your spouse emotionally because there are different types of cheating. So when you have an issue or there is a challenge or you need to make a decision concerning a certain issue or the other, and then you go to this so-called bestie, which is an opposite sex, to go and talk about it. And when you don't talk, the person you talk to first is this person and not your spouse. You are cheating on your spouse with this person. Even if your spouse knows the person as besties. It's emotional cheating.
Let me stop you there because we must not use that word lightly, cheating, because there are some people who genuinely do not know that their actions are detrimental to their marriage. For example, this issue of the sibling having influence over their marriage. They don't know because they've always been going to that sibling since they were children. When they have problem at school, they'll go to that sibling. When they were working when they have problem in the office, they go to that sibling. Now that they're married, when they have problem, they go to that sibling. They don't know that what they are doing is not right. Same thing maybe it's not a sibling, it's just someone that they've been friends. Maybe it's even someone that was in their area, someone that they were friends with and they grew up together. Maybe the person traveled and got married and then they reconnected and they continue being best friends. And to them, in their mind, because the penny has not dropped yet that what they are doing is not right. So that's why I'm be careful to use that word cheating. There are situations where they know what they are doing, that they are starving their spouse emotionally and going to talk to somebody else and getting some emotional connection from somebody else. Then we'll class it as cheating. But when the person is just being simply naive and blind and they don't know the effect of their actions on their marriage, on their spouse, then they just need education. They need reawakening. They just need an intervention.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So we have Victor. Victor, thank you for joining. He said, do guys do bestie? He said, do guys do besties? So I think Peju just talked about what's it called? One of the life what's it called, experience that she gave concerning I think a lawmaker or a senator in the UK, how, you know, his bestie was I think his secretary or something, or special advisor, and she was actually married to someone else, and at the end of the day they ended up doing more than the bestie thing. So I think, yes, guys do besties. So Nifemi said, na so Madam Oluwafumlayo aye wada kosai o aye wada or something. Sorry. Okay, so Glory is saying keeping close contact with your ex isn't advisable. If possible, block them on all platforms, but keep a cordial relationship with them when the need arises. And Nifemi says, my blog industry is very active. I don't waste time at all. This blog industry. Okay, so for me saying, Peju ni frolicking or flirting. Peju ni frolicking or flirting.
It was more than flirting. It was actual. They caught them doing things.
They caught them, so it was more than. So for me, it was more than that. Okay, they were doing things. So it is not flirting, it was they were actually frolicking. What ni frolicking no Peju asheju ni frolicking no flirting ye ni real name towa okay, and it's not to be tolerated. So I think Peju just explained that it's not flirting, it's more than flirting. They were actually frolicking. Bola Tito says Jesus is your best friend. And she's laughing. Nifemi says it gets you unnecessarily emotionally connected, which shouldn't be. That is, I think, with the ex. Peju, please pocket that your frolicking grammar. Call the name Gong Gong. Oh my God, today is just so very. It's a fun. Okay, Oluwatosin, thank you for tuning in. Great discourse here. Thank you so much. Okay, now, okay, let me just catch my breath. Okay, so now in marriage, what are the ideal relationships to have in marriage?
So your spouse, so let's put it this way. Let's get like a hierarchy sort of thing, because even just today, I saw something that was a bit sensitive around, there was the man that bought a car for his mom, and his pregnant wife was walking around on the streets with no means of transportation. Now, what would you like to say about that? That is a bit like there's a gray area around them. Yes, yeah. But I'll just like to say that when a man and a woman are married, they are now one. So whatever you do to your spouse, you are doing to yourself. And when you're making decisions, it's good to, it's not even, it is ideal. That is what you should do. You discuss decisions with your spouse, because it's not just you anymore. You need to forget the past, forget the old days. You need to live that selfish, because human beings are naturally selfish, because it's survival instinct. Especially when you've been by yourself for a while, you've looked after yourself, you've worked hard, you've been doing things for yourself. When somebody else comes into your space You need to unlearn some things. You need to learn how to involve that person in every decision you're making. So you and that spouse. So the hierarchy is your spouse is you. And then every other thing, even children, that's secondary. That's your spouse and you are one, your children, and then that forms your nuclear. When you have children, that forms your nuclear family. And then your extended family, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, that's the next step. Those are the relationships that I'm trying to describe now.
Yeah.
Your spouse, number one, with you, your children when you have, your extended family, and then every other thing is outside of that one. Sometimes extended family and some relationships can be on the same level. Sometimes some extended other friendships can even be before some extended family. Depends on the kind of relationship you guys have. But and then so those relationships, those are the things we now need to define. Relationships like you can have friends, but again, like someone said, the friends that you have, does your spouse know them? And if your spouse does not know them, why? Why does your spouse not know them? There are some that maybe you've not been in touch with for a long time. Yeah, and that's fine. But if you are in your heart, you are purposely isolating your spouse from some of your friends, then you need to check yourself. You need to check it. You need to check those relationships and do something about it. It's either you end it because it's not healthy, or you let your spouse know. You should know all your friends, the people calling you. You should know anyone that is not healthy, that is not helping your marriage. You cut it off. You cut it off. Like someone said, what are you looking for in that friendship if it's not benefiting you, not benefiting? In fact, not even just benefiting you, because some things might be benefiting you as a parent, but not benefiting your marriage, not benefiting your family. If it's not benefiting your marriage, then why? Just let it go and move on. So those are the steps. So someone else might have a different opinion, and that's fine. But this is what I feel is healthy and has been working for people.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, I feel that even when we have the opposite sex as friends, we should be very cautious of the kind of conversations that we have with them. Anything that is indecent or anything that is that we feel that if our spouse should probably stumble upon the conversation, it will raise like a red flag, we should keep away from it. So when somebody is sending you are married and your a friend, which is not a bestie, maybe a normal friend, that's a male friend, starts commenting you the way you are dressed today, you are looking hot, nip it. Why is that coming from? What kind of conversation is that? Nip it. If the conversation is nothing that has the sense, if it's something that is just around things that are very, very unnecessary and indecent, I think we should be able to caution them and say, please, I do not entertain this kind of discussions. Please let it not happen again. What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying about boundaries as well, and being respectful of ourselves. If we respect ourselves, we will not allow certain things to happen. For ladies, your male friends, introduce them to if they are important to you and you want to keep them in your life, introduce them to your spouse. What's there that you are afraid of? If there is something you're afraid of, then there is something. Then
it's undercover agent.
Then you need to let go. You need to talk to yourself and see and check why. And for the men to, let your wives know your female friends, the ones you talk to. Why will you not want them to know them? If there's anyone that you don't want your spouse to know about, there is something there. Go and do something about it. That doing something about it is stop it. Delete their number, block them, stop it.
Block them on all platforms.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go to the comment section. So Olafimilayo is saying, "Nada frolicking vex me pass." Okay. Nivemi is saying, "Emotional cheating is taken lightly because they don't see it as cheating. Gender. You have cheated emotionally if you find yourself easily and freely gisting about your struggles, worries with a particular bestie or opposite sex." Candy is saying, "There are 7 billion people in the world. Why do you have to keep chatting with your ex? Find someone else and let peace reign."
Thank you.
I like that. I think I need to put an exclamation mark at the end. Boom.
That's it.
So Osama is saying, what if one thing leads to another with the ex unconsciously and you get emotionally entangled with the ex? How can it be resolved and the marriage salvaged? Do you tell your spouse? Well, that's a question for you. Should I take it again? What if one thing leads to another with the ex unconsciously and you get emotionally entangled with the ex? How can it be resolved? And can the marriage be salvaged? Do you tell your spouse?
So that question is a bit emotionally entangled and marriage being salvaged. What that means, did the emotional entanglement cause the marriage to be, or is the person thinking maybe these
are different scenarios. Okay, let me take it from the beginning. What if one thing leads to another with the ex unconsciously? One, probably maybe you guys have sex together and you get emotionally entangled with the ex, maybe sex or romance or what have you. How can it be resolved and the marriage salvaged? Do you tell your spouse?
So it depends. Look at the example you gave now. If you are the one in that kind, you are the spouse that does not know that there is entanglement going on, and you now go and find out outside, how will you feel about it? You have to know that you allowed yourself to be in that situation, that there will be entanglement. You have to open your mouth and confess your sins. You have to tell them. You have to tell them.
Clean.
Exactly.
Come to the red table. Come clean.
You need to tell them what you and your so-called bestie have done. And then you need to tell them that if you are sincere, it can go either way. So you don't know, but for your own conscience, you need to tell them. I need to tell them what you are prepared to do. You need to be, of course, you'll be sorry, and you tell them that you are ready to, of course, nobody even tell you now that you are ready. If that marriage is important to you, that you have broken ties with that person, God should just help you that there is no pregnancy or disease that's come out of it. That's another story. So this scenario we are saying is that there is none of those things that come out of that so-called entanglement activity. Confess your sins, be sorry, repent, and you need to pick up you have to start afresh. You need to tell them, of course, your husband, after the person has come out of shock, you have to give them time to digest what has happened and give them time to make a decision on what they want to do moving forward. If you don't force them. So when they do come to terms with it, and if they are willing to continue, because they have good ground to say they are not willing to continue. So if they are willing to continue with the marriage, then you guys need to start on a proper foundation and talk about boundaries, talk about things you are not going to allow. And you might need to to do extra work to build trust back. You have to be ready for that, because you're the one who has broken that trust. You have to do extra work to build the trust back. They might relapse in their trust for you sometimes, and that's okay. That's normal. Just give it time, and until they start to, until that trust is built up again. Don't put yourself in that. You might need to even be doing extra to be telling them, I'm here now. I'm here now. I'm here now. I'll be going here at this time. Call me. I'll be at this time. You might need to be doing that for some time until they can trust you again. So it is possible to rebuild the marriage. Of course, prayers, being sincere, confessing your sins, saying everything. That's another thing. Some people, when they are confessed, they'll just say part of it. The person will be in shock. They'll recover later. The person will now hear some other things. The person will now go back into shock, recover, now hear another and go back into shock and not recover again. So just say everything. And once you are caught, or once you have, God has told you that you should go, and once you have realized you are wrong, go and just say everything, and God will help you from there.
Thank you for that. So Ozema, I hope she's been able to answer your question. So Nifemi says, or why do you have to feel so safe and comfortable with a particular opposite gender under the guise of now my colleague? Be sensitive and draw the boundaries. Place value on your home and spouse. Thank you for that. Oluwatosin is saying some people cannot just remove their eyes from their ex and move on. They want to eat their cake and still have it. That's true. There's a reason why they are your ex. Try to remember that. Oh, House of Jamila, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Great discourse, ladies. Yoruba people call some people komoko. Okay. Meaning she can't say no. I don't understand why people can't just set boundaries. Okay. Olafimlayo says, be like I go hire Peju as my premarital counselor. I am a manager, so you will cut through me. I'll collect a percentage of the fee. She's making sense, but you will say the word, as it is. So that's true. You're really, 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 making sense with all of these things. And I think that people, like what Jamila said, people should learn how to say no. I think there are some people that they don't know how to face an issue. They don't know how to, they are not confrontational in the sense of being rude and everything. No, they don't know how to face issues. They just, they feel, let me just cope with it. They're passive about it. What do you think about that?
That's very, very dangerous, because if you continue to be, if someone doesn't realize the effect of their actions on their spouse, on their marriage, then it can be dangerous. Either way, it could be that they are being passive, or they're just being clueless. If no matter the kind of temperament or character or attitude or whatever that they have, if they don't realize the effect of their actions on their marriage, then that is very, very, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And someone needs to call them to it. It is either, and it's most likely, it's best when it's the spouse that tells them that, wake up, this thing you're doing, you need to stop it. You need to stop it for me, for us, for our marriage. Yeah, we just need that. And I hope this discussion will help us to realize that, like I said, some people just don't know. It's something that, they've been doing maybe with a sibling, a childhood friend, and they just don't know. And then you'll know, oh, maybe I shouldn't be saying these things to this person. Maybe this information is classified information just for my spouse. Maybe I shouldn't go to this person first when XYZ happens. Maybe I should call my spouse first. Yeah, just hope this helps.
Yeah, thank you for that. So House of Jamila is saying, Sick Peju, you are hitting the nail right on the head. Yeah, well, all that you're saying is very profound. So what are the boundaries to have in marriage?
Boundaries, there are many, but in this context of
of our discussion, yes,
for our discussion. So that's it. Around calls, for example, we already talked about that. Time you both of you agree on was the latest time you can pick calls from certain types of people. Who are our friends? Let us know who our friends are, and we need to know. Male, for the wife, does my husband know all my male friends? For the husband, does my wife know all my female friends? Personal boundaries when your spouse is not there. What kind of things do people talk to me about? Especially people of the opposite sex. There are some things that you shouldn't even, the way you even do your face, they should not be able to open their mouth to say that kind of thing to you. But don't there are some people that no matter how you do the body language you give them, they will still blot out nonsense. So don't blame yourself if someone is saying nonsense to you. But the action, what you do when that happens is what's important. You need to stop it. You need to do something to stop it from continuing. Let your husband, the boundaries is, this person, my spouse is the person that will be the first to know XYZ, is the person that will make this kind of, not even this kind, all decisions with. Nobody, the boundaries you set is when we have made a decision, nobody, no third party should be able to influence our decision, no matter who that person is. No matter, even pastors can, you need to be careful. Who pastors can influence some people. Some people, pastors have influenced where people live, where people decide to build their house. That's serious. So those kind of bound, like I said at the beginning, that thing can be very annoying, especially for the women. When people have made a decision, then the man, you just come back with one different idea. You know that you'll know who that person he has spoken to, that is this person that's giving him this kind of idea. So you guys need to agree, and check in is very important. It can be depends on how busy you are, maybe 10 minutes every day, just check in. How's your day? This. Talk. Make sure you are checking in and not just going through the motion of, take the children to school, bathe them, pay school fees, go to the office, come back. Calm down. Make sure you're checking in. Talk. You need to make sure you're talking. You're finding out what's going on. And you should not be, you should never get to a point where you cannot get to a point where maybe someone is hiding their phone and all those kind of things. That's a red flag. You don't have to have a need to check your spouse's phone. But when it gets to that point where your spouse feels that they need to keep their phones private or secret or something, then there's something you need to check yourself. There is a problem. Yes, there is a problem there. So that checking, it will not get to that point if you are doing that checking and being honest with one another.
Thank you for that. Now, is it right or okay for your spouse to take out his or her bestie or a female friend or a male friend, depending on the male or the female gender, to for lunch and dinner alone?
What are they going to do for the lunch or the dinner? That's the thing. That question is a bit. Question is a bit.
I don't know what you are talking about.
Exactly. So,
But people do
all,
have, these appointments.
The appointments. So first of all, they are besties, and they are now going to a place alone, a serene environment where they eat and talk about life. And why are you not there? About which life? Your own family or their own life? Or I really don't understand why they are doing that. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Stop. All these scenarios I are painting. No, but for example, maybe if you raise it with your spouse and says, no, that there's nothing. We just, we went to talk and, we had dinner together or lunch or.
Think about it now. Your spouse is telling you that your spouse is telling you that, oh, my bestie, I want to take her to lunch and we want to go and talk. Talk about what? If you want to talk, come and talk in our house here. Let us have the dinner together. Or we all go together. What are you talking about that I cannot be there, that I cannot hear? What is it exactly that you want to talk about? That you have to go somewhere and discuss? That is not your... In fact, even if it's a business, I'm now part of that business. Even if it's a child, I can say, okay, I will give you people prize. Come and talk about it. I'll give you people to talk about the child. But I can't really, no.
Let's hit the comment section. So Nifemi is saying, and some people want self-discipline with their colleagues at work. Like you said some people they don't know. So we have to point it out to them that this thing that you're doing is affecting our marriage or our relationship, and I think it has to stop. Toby Olufon, hey, you're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Nifemi is saying, Peju, you are doing well. Toby is saying, exactly, regular check-in are most important. For the phone, I feel each other should have unlimited access to phones. Yes, I think when your spouse is hiding his phone from you, I think there's a problem. I think something is, I'm not talking about the women that go and be doing FBI and detective and be sniffing like a well-trained dog. No, I'm not talking about that. But normally, why should I have a husband that I can't pick up his phone? Don't touch my phone. Why? Then I think, there's an issue there. So Ojoma is laughing so hard. I think the analogy that you painted and the analysis you gave, at the end of the day, I couldn't even talk. Talk about life. Which life? About what in a serene environment? Okay, so Toby is saying, you should know each other's password or fingerprint access. It would aid transparency. You are very correct. And definitely, because sometimes some of these men could actually fall prey. They might not know. They might just be doing it from the innocence of their hearts. But the other person, the Jezebel that is there, doing a permutation and combination to make sure that the home would fall. When the wife is in check and there's transparency, she can actually point out these gray areas to the men, because half the time some men do not know what they are doing. They just feel they are being innocent, but somebody out there is actually planning for a hostile takeover. So now it brings us to the last question for today, which I want, you've spoken about it, earlier today, but I just want you to just, use it as a form of, conclusion. So how do you pass across your displeasure to your spouse as regards an ex or male or female bestie?
Yeah, okay. So like we said earlier on, do not attack your spouse, because that's not going to lead to anything, and it's not going to lead to a resolution. So just lay down the facts and let them know how their relationship with those people or that person is making you feel. Give examples of where their relationship has had an effect or on the decisions that you've made, or has had an influence over your family, and how it has caused harm to you. So just let them know, because if you tell them in a way that, oh, this person that you keep talking to is making me feel out of place in your life. For example, you tell them they're the first person you talk to about XYZ, when I should be the one you're talking to about that. I want to be able to help you when you're feeling stressed out. I want to be the one to help you when you're feeling overwhelmed. Saying it like that kind of way, not today you will call her, tomorrow they will call you, tomorrow they will tell you, what are you doing? What? Man, chill. Look after your health. Look after yourself. Don't kill yourself.
Mental health is key.
Yes, just say it calmly, and just be sincere about your feelings. Yeah,
I like that. Be sincere about your feelings and say it calmly. We have a question here, and this is a very, very good question. So it's coming from Muzioma. She's saying, how do you handle the bestie or ex that is always asking for one help or the other, that practically sees you as their oniduro?
So if you are, so this is where you need to step in. So there's nothing wrong with helping people, but this is where we need to put those boundaries again about besties and helping the besties. I'm assuming this is like financial help. That's
financial
giving.
help. It might be any form of help.
Yeah, so
maybe
so
a smile, because we learned the last time that a smile can be a help.
Let's assume this is financial help now. So if the financial help is going from your spouse to their bestie, first of all, you should be, for every decision, especially financial decisions, you should be involved in those kind of decisions, and you should know when your spouse is giving anybody money. And before your spouse can give anybody money, you should be able to say yes or no to it. And then when it becomes a constant thing and you've turned to like an ATM, you will know when it's becoming inappropriate. First of all, the bestie, opposite sex bestie giving money, that one is even a red flag for whatever it is. So I will not, because once anything about getting something from someone that you are emotionally connected to, it does not really stop. You just want to keep on getting, and that's enough. If it's money, if it's talk, just getting their time to listen to you, or anything at all, it needs to be stopped. But if it's someone like we say, like maybe sibling that they are very close to, then you need to agree on, we're prepared to do XYZ for this person, and agree on that. When it turns to a situation where your spouse now starts to go behind your back, maybe they don't want you to know because they know that you will not agree to it because it's going to affect your budget in the house, then that's a problem. When you start to go behind your spouse's back to give someone money, then you are cheating, or you are doing financial cheating. You are cheating on your spouse financially, and you need to stop it.
Financial cheating. Okay, so Toby is saying an ex is an ex. Okay. So Ozima has another question. She says, or the ex or bestie that traveled down to your city and wants you to house him or her.
No.
Did you hear? No. That's a red flag. Is the person okay? I think the person needs to get checked medically. So Toby is saying, if an ex was good indeed, I wouldn't be in the picture. That's true. This happened to a friend of mine. His girlfriend is in Lagos. He's in Abuja. His ex who she had been intimate with called her up that he needed to clear his house and wanted to spend the weekend in her place. Is he okay? She accepted and only told her partner later she saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. Wow, that's wrong.
This is the reason why I say that this ex issue is there is an emotional connection. There's a tie there that you have to be far away from them, or else you'll be doing stupid things that you will not know until someone calls you out, that you now realize that, why am I doing this? Why did I do this thing?
As in, so that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure if that person now hears the story told to them, they will now realize, why did I do that?
Yeah, because he said, how can you allow your ex spend the weekend in your place?
Exactly. So it needs to be cut off. That's what they call. You need to. If I need to pray about it, break that yoke. Yes, and take practical steps to be far from the person.
Okay, so he said, so it happened to his friend. He said my guy felt like dying. Of course, he will want to, like, such effrontery. So Balakito is saying, with eyes, neck, and tone, retire rapper for effect. Candy is saying that ex wants to die. Oh, very weary. Oh my days. Thank you so much. I actually had fun with this discussion, and I'm sure everybody had fun with this discussion and conversation. And in as much as we are laughing, the truth has to be told, and we have to say it as it is. So in conclusion, what would you like to say?
I would just like to say that respect yourself, respect your spouse, respect your family. Don't do anything that will jeopardize what you have built. Nobody has that. Nobody should be given that power over what you have built. Don't hand it over to anyone, whosoever they might be.
Thank you so very much. And Babz, thank you so much for coming on the shows. I really apologize for your network issues, and I know that we're still going to have more of these conversations, and definitely we're still going to have you on the show. To everybody that actually tuned in today and joined the conversation, to all the people that asked questions, to all the lovely comments that we had today, thank you so much. This is heartfelt. And I would like to say this, that concerning your relationships, marriage, and also relationship with the opposite sex, learn to draw boundaries. And also, like our guest said, put your spouse in the picture. Let your spouse know your friends, and also think about your family first before you start, making those decisions that could actually jeopardize your home or hurt your spouse in the process. So till I see you next time. So on Saturday, we'll be back here by 9 p.m. We're doing something different, and we're talking to an emotional expert concerning different issues. We're talking about the emotional side of life, and it's going to be a wonderful discussion. So till I see you next time, which is Saturday, 9 p.m., stay true to yourself, be good, be awesome, your dreams are valid. And for those people that are having besties as opposite sex, take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do take care. This is Gbogbo Swagger, and this is Swaggerslifestyle. Thank you, Peju. Good night. Okay, so before we go, we have, I need to take this comment. Candy is saying, Toby is saying, my wife is my bestie. I am her bestie. Case closed. And Candy is saying, respect the institution of marriage and remember your vows. This is very, very profound. Osama is saying great discourse. Yeah, thank you so much. Glory is saying so much learned tonight. 100%. Thank you so much for tuning in. Toby is saying any other person is a motherless child. Okay, he's talking about my wife is my bestie. I am a bestie. Case closed. Any other person is a motherless child. That's funny. So Candy is saying great discussion, and thank you, Peju, for all the words of wisdom. Yeah, Peju, you did amazing. Thank you so much. Glory is sending love and kisses. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. And I will say this again. This is Gbogbo Swagger, and this is Swagger's Lifestyle. See you 9 p.m. on Saturday. Bye. Bye.